As some of you know, I'm a Canadian. I was born and raised in one of the smallest provinces in Canada, Nova Scotia, which sits on our country's east coast. After law school, I moved to Toronto for a year and I loved it there, but I always needed to come home. And to be honest, I will live in Nova Scotia for the rest of my life. I think it's the greatest place on earth, although I am very, very biased. The people are wonderful, the culture and the atmosphere are wonderful, and it's just a great place. Nova Scotia does have some problems, but I never thought we would have a day like we did today. Last night, April 18th, a gunman in Nova Scotia began what can only be described as a slaughter, moving across the province dressed as, at times, a Mountie, which is basically a federal Canadian police officer, and executing at least 16 people. I say at least 16 because even now, over 24 hours after his rampage began, we still do not know how many victims are dead. This is basically as horrific as a situation as one can imagine. Victims were seemingly chosen at random. Wonderful people just living their lives were killed for no apparent reason. The atrocities, which began in a small town called Portapique, which I'd never even heard of, spread at least 100 kilometers across the province until the gunman was destroyed by a group of brave RCMP officers. During the chase, one of those officers, a wife and a mother of two named Heidi Stevenson, was killed. This has become the largest mass shooting in Canadian history, and I really don't know how to feel. There's a lot of emotions going through my mind right now. I feel frustrated, I feel angry, I feel helpless, and I just feel confused. Yesterday, I took my son August for a drive down what I consider to be a fairly scenic route into the countryside, and we passed the spot where this rampage would eventually end. It's almost surreal. I really don't know what to do. I've seen stuff like this happen in the United States especially, but this is our first mass shooting in Nova Scotia, at least that I'm aware of. I didn't know what to expect. And I can only imagine how the victims who managed to survive with injuries or the families who have lost loved ones are feeling. I feel grief, and I'm mourning for how things were before I woke up this morning. But I can only imagine how those families and those victims are feeling. This was senseless. This can never be undone. Families now are going to have to bury their family members, and they won't even be able to have full funerals because of the current pandemic. I don't know why I'm making this video, but I just want people to keep us in your minds. In the coming days, if there's somebody in my home that needs support, my home province that needs support, I will probably find some way to do a fundraiser, maybe a 24-hour live stream. This video obviously is not monetized, but perhaps we can figure out some way to donate proceeds from future videos. Whatever I can do, I will try to, and just keep an eye on this channel, on my other social media pages, or just on other Canadian creators who care about this issue, because I feel helpless and I want to help. I'm turning on Facebook and I'm seeing, thankfully not my friends or my family, but friends and family of people that I know who were killed. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you got this far, you are a real one. Hug your family today and your loved ones. Don't take a day for granted. I've been thinking how lucky I am that me and my son weren't in the way of this psychopath, and how lucky I really am. But that's all for now, guys. Thank you again, and may the force be with you.